It's the day after Christmas. I'm at my parents' house. We're pajamas all day, snacks, cats, and commenting on life. So, San Francisco has been having some challenges, you could say, for quite some time now. And I'm glad to see that they're finally getting their stuff together and heading in the right direction. So they have brought on a brand new role. They have created and filled this role, who is being filled by this woman. And she says, I'm working with a team at the San Francisco Department of Public Health as a consultant on weight stigma and weight neutrality. Moving along. The San Francisco Department of Public Health has hired a self-described anti-weight-based discrimination expert to consult on weight stigma and weight neutrality. Virgie Tovar, the author of You Have the Right to Remain Fat and other published works on fat positivity and body acceptance, announced on her Instagram Monday that she has been hired to consult the department, calling the collaboration an absolute dream come true. Let's watch a clip of her.
Intersection, really, what is your definition of health?
Yeah, that's really complicated, right? I think I want to talk about that question, but I want to start by saying that, no one has to be healthy. No, right? Like, I mean, it's like, no, like there is no governing body that's like out there putting, you know what I mean? It's like no one owes anybody that in either the traditional sense of the word or any other more innovative or, more politicized, maybe even version of that word. So I think it's important to say like, and I want to back up and bring in intersectionality and say like, right, like, look at the disabled community, right? Like I think people with disabilities and activists within that space have consistently been saying like, I'm never going to be your notion of healthy. That doesn't mean I don't get to be a full human. You get to treat me some kind of way, right? And so I think that I love taking that principle within disability rights to fat activism, to understandings of fatness. So I want to start there, right? Like no matter what size you are, you don't owe anybody else your health. But I mean, for me, right, like in an ideal world there wouldn't be health-based gatekeeping.
I have said this once. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm going to say it 1,000 more times. Who was it, Ben Shapiro, that would joke about people getting degrees in lesbian dance theory or, I don't know, cat gender studies or something crazy like that? And we're like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. They're spending all that money to go to college. They're never going to get a job. Joke's on us. Joke is on us. They are literally creating jobs for themselves. They are creating jobs for themselves. This is what our administrative class is becoming. I was doing a story on, it was a high school in Denver East High School. There was a really dangerous situation that happened there. And I was reading through the list of the administrators. It wasn't their fault. I was reading through the list of administrators. This high school had a full-on dean's office. I went to a high school in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the biggest school districts ever, 4,000 kids. We didn't have a dean's office. We had a principal, we had counselors, we had guidance counselors. They also had all of that. And then they had a full-on dean's office with about 3 or 4 professionals, each having their own paraprofessional. One of the job titles I looked at was Dean of Restorative Justice. And then there was another dean who had climate in the title. What? This is what it's becoming. Anywho, on a serious note, let's talk about this specifically. This will drive me crazy. I cannot believe these job titles. What are we doing, folks? And taxpayers are paying for this, more than likely. Probably. Yeah, it's Department of Health. Anyway, let's talk about this. Do you have a legal obligation to be healthy? No. And quite frankly, I don't think I want to live in a society where it's illegal to be overweight or to engage in activities that are not healthy for your body. I don't want to live there. I don't know what that would look like. Do you have a moral obligation to be healthy? Yeah, you do, actually. I think so. You have a moral obligation to yourself, to your family, to society as a whole, to the world that you live in, all of that. Being unhealthy and passing away an early death when that's something that you could have taken control over, yeah, that is a moral issue, I would say. I don't ever advocate that it should be a legal issue. No. But yes, it is a moral obligation. Not to mention that the problems that come with obesity, diabetes, heart problems, things like that, having to go to the hospital. One of the things that we talk about a lot, especially with the recent stuff that happened with United, is just how insane hospital prices are. Well, the more unhealthy we are, the more that people have to go, the more it drives up healthcare for everyone else. This actually takes an even darker turn when you learn that the leading cause of death in the United States of America is heart disease, and one of the leading causes of heart disease is unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy diet, sedentary lifestyle, even other things like alcoholism, things like that. I would never look at an alcoholic and say, you go girl, you don't owe anyone your health. No, I would say I want you to get better because I love you and I care about you, and I want you to live a long and healthy life. I want you to be there for your loved ones and contribute back to the world. But this is San Francisco. Oh, one more thing. Comparing obesity to somebody that is disabled or born disabled or got disabled because of an accident or something like that, they didn't have control over, is a very, very disingenuous comparison. And obviously there are outliers. Are there people that have health complications? Sure, we're always going to assume that there are outliers. We are never talking about the outliers though. So before I get that, but that is a completely disingenuous, disempowering argument. Also, I'm a very petite person. I don't like this idea that it feels good to have a lot of extra on you. Obviously, I don't know how anyone else feels, but I'll tell you this. I'm really, really small. I'm like 5'1". I weigh 105 pounds. And sometimes my weight will fluctuate a little bit. I can feel, and maybe it's because my frame is so small, but whenever I have just like a little bit of extra weight, I can feel it. It doesn't feel good. I can feel it. It does not feel good. And it's never been about vanity. It's how I feel in my body moving around, the things that I'm able to get done.